Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Zenta Siladi Show, episode, believe, what is this now? Six. We've got lots to talk about this episode. Once again, I am joined by the Andrew. Very glad to have him here.
Thank you for
I hope
letting me
that,
on.
of course. So we've got a couple of main topics to talk about today. We're going to talk about Trump's recent Truth Social posts, the fate of Europe amidst the Hungarian elections, and we're going to talk a little bit about some governor candidate controversy, most notably between Eric Swalwell and a bit of Steve Hilton. Now, with that out of the way, let's go straight into it. Trump, what are you doing?
Uh,
I,
what was that post? Like
I,
I
yeah,
don't I don't understand like what the context of what that post on AI was on his feed. Like what was
it,
the reason for that?
I, I mean, I'm a Catholic, so I'm Catholic first, and then my politics comes second. But when I see that, and I do support his policies very much, but it makes it very, very hard. And this isn't even the first thing in like the past week or so that he's put out that's been problematic for a lot of us conservatives that try our best to defend Trump from these liars. But when it comes to this is one thing that I've talked to a couple liberals about. This, I think, this is another unanimously agreed upon thing that no one liked that. I mean, we came out in an interview and said it was something to do with the Red Cross, and I'm like, no one's buying that BS. I'm sorry. He obviously deleted it since then, but I mean, I wake up and then that's the first thing I see, and I'm like, today is gonna be a long day.
Yeah, it's like why you after all Trump's done, like he's helped all the stuff around the United States, like a lot of things, and he goes out and posts this like even if you're a good person, like no one's it's just that post is just I don't know how to put it into words, but like
I mean, it's just I don't know if because again, there has been past posts where it wasn't necessarily posted by him; it was just posted like under his name. But like, still, I no amount of anything is gonna save this. This had to go through some kind of approval process, and I mean, it wouldn't even, I don't know, it wouldn't even be that problematic. It's just like it's just the fact that he literally could have depicted himself normally. Like if he had done that normally, then I don't think there would have been any problems. Or as a matter of fact, I even saw an edited version of that photo replacing Trump with Jesus instead, and that would have been way better PR for him.
that would be way better.
And I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's actually a nice image. It's AI, sure, whatever, but like, it's a nice image, America, everything, you know? And then instead it's Trump's face. And then people are already pulling the Antichrist card. Well, I'm like, I'm not tossing that around yet. But like it makes it real hard for me to defend that when people come out to you and say, well, Trump's posting himself as Jesus. Well, back he posted himself as the Pope as well. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
that one that one's I mean, I'm a Catholic, so again, it was just like, bro, come on. But like, it's not sure the Pope is a divine person in the sense that he is chosen by Christ. We do believe that he is chosen by Christ and he is here to lead the people to Christ. But I mean, still, but that's not even as bad, I would say, because I
yeah,
can tell that that one was just like a petty joke. I'm gonna do it satirically. At least that's what I got from it. I don't remember there being this big of an issue on it. But now when you're posing as Jesus, that becomes way more problematic.
yeah. Because like if you pose like as I don't know, like one of the Jedi's, that's like a cool little thing to do. But like when you're posing as Jesus, as Son of God, that's a whole different story. Like we we can go on and on like about this. Like it's the fact that it's the Son of God that he's posting as, and it's like, no offense to Trump and all the conservatives, but I'm a conservative myself, but it's like no one's important as Jesus. Nobody is. Nobody's that important to be posted like that,
It's
you
not
know?
a ridiculous thing to say. And in fact, I would say most conservatives probably view that. And then this is where we're having a split happening because now we have I mean, I'm conservative. I consider myself a Republican, but in recent times, over the past like couple of months, going back a little bit into 2025, I've kind of separated my association with MAGA, like the America Great Again movement. That is like I am pro Trump, but not pro Trump this much where I'm blindly following him because I say that extreme part of the right would be just as bad as an extremely that same equivalent on the left where you're just blindly following someone. But I mean, this is where I have to kind of have to split myself off where it's just like, well, what am I supposed to do with this now? You
Like,
kind
yeah,
of
I know what you mean. It's like the left. We're trying. I don't know how to say it. So basically, for our right, our conservative, not all conservatives are the exact same. So this is what shows the difference between conservatives and leftists. Leftists just completely buy into it. They're into it, like they're on that stuff. Not all the time though. Most of the time. But I feel like the right, it's like there's a difference, but they're still trying to make America a great again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a statement. This statement, make America great again, I support. I want to see America made great again. In fact, domestically, within the United States, I say we've probably achieved a lot in that sense. Internationally, I talked about that a little last week on last episode. But when it comes to the people who like basically value Trump over like religion and he's kind of their savior instead of who it should be. And like I said, they're just blindly following him. That's and this can hold both results for both sides. The extreme MAGA is also not a great thing. We need free thinking conservatives who still know what policies they're looking for, still have a focus on Christianity, etc., etc., but also aren't blindly following a leader regardless of if they overall agree with him, but they also acknowledge that he does make mistakes.
Yes, because it also says in the Bible for those Christians, it says, "None are righteous, no, not one." I remember my dad told me that phrase. He loves using it, but it's the thing is nobody's perfect. Now, I agree what Trump said was completely wrong. Like that was completely against that. But he's not always going to make the right decision. Like the left isn't make the right decision all the time, and the right doesn't matter what side of political politics you're on. It just you always make mistakes, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I see that, and I mean, the best we could do for him, I think. I mean, because this is a mistake. This kind of reverberated throughout the conservative group as a whole, and this is going to take a little time for people to get over for sure. If they do, I mean, I don't want people to abandon the Republican Party because there is a deeper rooted evil. How can I say like a deeper rooted evil and we need not stray. Yes, he did this very bad thing, and it is a mistake, and I don't like it at all. But in the grand scheme of things, unfortunately, we have to kind of push that aside and pray for him that he doesn't make a mistake like that. We have to pray for him that he continues to make good choices when it comes to that, and also continues to having the same good or like great but overall good choices as a whole when it comes to being a leader as a whole. So I'm not saying forget about this. I'm not saying disregard it like it isn't some bad thing because I think it's a bad thing. But I still believe, and this is a phrase that I'm stealing from a couple of conservative creators. I still think we are in a better place under Trump than we would be under Kamala. Under
I'm
any other
100% agree with you.
Democrat, under any other Democrat administration, and that's just the truth.
I mean, if you looked at the Joe Biden, I don't want to get into this too much, but if you looked at the Joe Biden uh Trump debate, that was like he forgot it was bad. The way Joe Biden could barely, I'm not saying anything bad to Joe Biden, but the fact he could barely answer the questions. And the fact that was a leader for our country 4 years. Where would our country be if that leader stayed in 4 more years?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I think we'd we'd be in ruins. I mean, it's yeah. But again, the key takeaway from this is don't forget about that, but don't abandon him because he can do better and he has done better. So while we're acknowledging this as a bad mistake of his, we need to keep looking forward into what he will do or what he can do.
Exactly, yeah, because you can see it in the 2016 when he ended his presidency. No, actually, yeah, sorry, he started. My bad. When he started his presidency in 2016, you could see a huge difference from 2016 to 2026. Like he changed so much. Like the way he's like, I don't know how to say this. Had the leaders come to him, negotiate other countries negotiating with him, like all that stuff. Like his leadership has changed. Like people change. I'll give it to you, but the fact we're not thing to take away. We're not not let this go, but at the same time not abandon it. Abandon it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's perfectly well said. I mean, there's nothing else really to say on this matter. I mean, there also have been a couple of other times. This is just like a main one. Like I don't necessarily enjoy him um, being glad that someone is dead per se, even if they were a quote unquote bad person. But again, it's just again, I he's a free thinker. He says what's on his mind, and sometimes he doesn't think before he does stuff. He is like a child in that way. He kind of just acts spontaneously.
And
And
it's
again,
like the thing is, the left looks so high on like they never try to look at this stuff on their own president, like Joe Biden. They never like to talk about this. Like they never like to talk about the bad things that happened to Joe Biden, the bad things that happened to all the other Democrat presidents. But like they like to show off. The fact is, conservatives are looking at the mistakes we are, and if they make mistake, they'll be 100% true, and they'll be like, "Hey, yeah, I made a mistake on it." The left, they'll try to hide it. They'll like they won't talk about it. They won't bring it up. They won't even say anything about it.
I mean, yeah, as we continue on with social media posts, this does tie in with the point you're saying. Zoran Mamdani's wife received, well, controversy from us, but not as much as he should have, or she should have, for her racist, homophobic, etc. Twitter posts. I believe it was Twitter from way back in the day. And then Mamdani's just shrugging it off like, oh, she's a private citizen. Well, not exactly because she's the first lady of New York City, if that's a correct term. But, you know, so you're right. The left does not take accountability for our actions. We still must, as conservatives, take accountability for what happens with us. But honestly, uh, it's hopefully something good will come and that'll redeem it. He just needs to tone it down a little because it is
Yeah,
getting difficult to defend him as much as I want to.
I mean,
Now, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I don't know. I was just asking if you wanted to change the topic about something else, but
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We can move on to our second bullet point today, Europe. Oh boy, as a European myself, as a full-blooded Hungarian, oh man, I am not happy with these elections at all. For those of you who don't know, who don't really cover or don't look into geopolitics as much, especially in the small rinky dinky, not really, but rinky dinky country of Hungary, we recently had our prime minister elections. The two main parties were Fidesz, which is basically Hungary's equivalent to Republicans, and TISA, which is Hungary's equivalent to the Democrats. Now, the two leaders were Viktor Orban, who had been prime minister for over 16 years with great results, mind you, and versus the narcissistic sociopath socialist liberal Péter Magyar. And I think you can assume, based on my reaction to how I started this bullet point and why I think it's so important that we talk about this, who won the two-thirds of the parliament? Ding, ding, ding. If you guessed
Yeah, I
Péter Magyar and the TISA party, then you would be correct. Now, why is this so problematic, you may wonder? Well, it's due to a couple reasons. One, he's basically, with two-thirds of parliament, he's basically just gonna rip apart everything Orban worked for 16 years. The big dictator that he was. Yet, when I went there, the streets were clean. We weren't overrun with illegals. There weren't a lot of Muslims also overrunning us. Streets were fairly clean from what I remember. I haven't been to Hungary in 3 years, but I've seen a lot on it, a lot of posts on it since then. And every family that I know there they've been great. They've been loving it. But now, like I said, we've elected. I love to say this title because it's so funny to me. The narcissistic sociopath socialist liberal that is Péter Magyar. And so now, if you know anything about the EU, you know there are a bunch of I don't want to say it. Actually, I need to be careful. I want to be PR trained for this, but they're pretty stupid and they're pretty bad. Uh,
I
Ursula
mean, yeah,
von der
you
Leyen,
look at that, you'll see.
yeah,
You'll see the amount of like I don't want to say anything bad like publicly or bad. But I just it's crazy. There's
yeah,
like the amount of like I don't know how to say it, stupidity in that. It's
yeah.
crazy. You know.
I was and my whole family and everyone I know, every Hungarian I know that would have or did vote for Orban and are on that side of things. We were all astonished to see that this wasn't a close election. If it was a close election, I would have called fraud. It was a landslide. Out of 199 parliament seats, Tisa or Péter Magyar took home 138. So
That is an
what
astonishing number.
it's insane. And we have a bunch of stupid people, and that's just it's sad to see because I thought we were smarter than this. So what this means is now they can obviously get anything that they want done. If Disa wants to go and send soldiers into Zelensky's meat grinder, that is the war in Ukraine, well, now we can do that too. You want to let in a bunch of illegal immigrants? Oh, we can do that too. They hold two-thirds. They can change our constitution, is
Yes,
how problematic this is. And
that
so
that's
among
crazy. Our constitution, they would be able to do that. They have so much power now. It's like it's not even crazy. Sorry, it is
yeah,
kind of crazy. Like they could let illegals in. They could do all of these things. Like they could start a war against us. Who knows?
yeah, I fear Orban was right about one thing, and it's that he stated that this is going to be the last election before war. And the way things are going and the way things have ended, it's not looking good. I mean, one of the top celebrators for Magyar's election was Ursula von der Leyen. Familiar? The president of the European Commission. Oh my gosh, I could ramble on and on about her. She is an evil bitch. I'm sorry. But it's bad when you have all the people who have been destroying Europe for years and years celebrating that this man has been elected into parliament. And so, I mean, I hope I hope that he retains at least some of the possible conservative things. I hope he's not that dumb. But I mean,
I
again,
kind of
like I
hope
said,
so too. I kind of hope that he doesn't like because if the Conservative Party loses the I don't know how to say this the presidency in the next election, and we have him as a president, that is not going to go well and whatsoever.
yeah,
There
I
might
mean,
be World War III
yeah.
happening. D-
Honestly, this
Like,
is Hungary Biden phase for sure. This is definitely their equivalent to Biden,
and
where
we gotta
they've
hope that we don't have our Biden phase again, and while they are having it, because that's not gonna
you
happen.
know,
That's
yeah,
not gonna go in well.
we need to keep electing conservatives because liberals clearly aren't working, and regardless of whatever party is called what. I mean, Italy has been doing great under, oh my gosh, what's her name? Um, oh my gosh, what's her name? Giorgia Meloni.
Oh yeah, 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 that yeah, yeah.
Good. Yes, that's her name. And also Poland. Poland has been a prime example of conservative greatness.
Yes.
So to see Hungary fall like this again, I mean, I know of his policies. They are obviously very liberal, but like, I don't know. I would hate to see my country go in ruin because I went to Paris, I went to Germany that same year I went to Hungary, and I'm looking around, and at the time I didn't even realize it because I was still too young, honestly, to wrap my head around what was really going on. But looking at it back now, I see what a difference there was. Excuse me, what a difference there was, and it's insane that this might be the future of my home nation, and all the people celebrating, they're gonna turn their backs real quick once those policies really start to kick in. So much so to the point where I think, honestly, it could lead to a revolution of some kind if there's even an opportunity for that, if there'll be a next election, if we don't bomb ourselves into the ground by that point. Who knows? Because I am like a D1 hater of war. So this is why I never part sides with anything in the Middle East because I just don't want people to die. I'm never on anyone's side really. I just don't want people to die. But the fact that this may be the direction we're heading, I mean, as far as I know, we had that ceasefire with Iran and Israel and the U.S. But I believe, as far as know and remember, that's not going too well. Negotiations have failed. I mean,
And
we've basically,
you got to give it to Trump. It's like the amount Iran is just not letting go. Like if you've ever seen the movie Argo, you know what I mean. Like the people there are just completely. I'm just gonna say they're terrible people. There, there are some good ones. I'll give it to you, but there are a lot of terrible people that want to do some terrible things to Americans, and they just don't want to come to a peace treaty on this. And Trump's trying, but at the same time, he can only do what he's allowed to do as a president,
I
and
mean, such
it's crazy. Like they
yeah.
don't want
I mean,
to they don't want to grab any peace treaty whatsoever.
yeah. I mean that goes to a deeper issue with country I don't like to mention, and I hope I'd never really need to mention, at least not in this early stage of this podcast. But I think you and me, the listeners and the watchers, all know who I'm talking about. But I'm gonna keep them nameless for fear of being shadow banned, and who knows. But I mean, circling back, I mean, we've seen the devastation that liberal and leftist policies have done to Europe, and so now with Hungary also gone as a roadblock for the EU. The European Union is, first off, they're
They're
gonna,
falling apart.
the Europe is falling apart, and
I mean,
it's only gonna
we
fall apart
the
even more.
UK. I have to say it. The UK voted in lefts, and look at the
Ooh,
UK right now. They have people fleeing from the UK, running away from their own country because that's how bad it is. Like
yeah,
that's terrible. Nobody should flee from the country because it's that bad. Like, how bad of leaders would you have that your own citizens are trying to run away from your country?
I know, and it's just like Keir Starmer is like the worst of the worst when it comes to European leftist leaders, I would say. I mean, I don't know of anyone worse who's done the most damage to their country. But I mean, I want, now that Peter Magyar has now been, elected and will be taking power, I believe sometime in May, is how that peaceful transfer of power goes. I mean, I just hope that it doesn't just go along with whatever bullcrap the EU, puts him in. And I don't know.
I just
I
hope
I'm
he doesn't.
forced to have some sort of faith in him, but unfortunately, I don't know if I can have that. I know his policies. I don't know how he's going to execute them, but I can only hope and pray for.
We can only hope that he's not right on the world war, like on the war. He said in, I think, his campaign. Don't quote me on this. Where he's going on about the war, like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a war after. There's not gonna be another election. Which was one of the things he said. There's not gonna be another election.
Hmm.
I hope
Yeah,
he's
that
wrong.
was
I, I,
I
I
I hope
pray
he's wrong.
so.
Believe me.
Believe me, I
That
hope
that
he's
whole
wrong about.
Yeah, that whole, me being against war, that's just something that I feel like has always been common sense. That's something I stand with Pope Leo on, which is another reason why I don't understand the criticism. Yes, we're moving a regime, but like I said, from a diplomatic standpoint, when you look at it from above, it isn't the best thing. But again, I can only hope and pray that they're doing what's right in the long run. And I, I'm scared for Europe, quite frankly. I mean, it's going to be damage, more damage. Now my people are being affected by this. Now there's just very little places to go, and hopefully the people of Italy, people of Poland, the people in any other country where there's still any sort of conservative leadership can
No,
retain that and
yeah. Also,
be
there's one
participate.
conservative country. I'll give it to the EU. There's one Germany. Yes, I will be. I'm happy that Germany. They voted just voting in conservative as of April 2026. They voted in conservative. I personally hope that they didn't fall too much behind on the left. I generally think it might be too late for Germany to turn back around because they've been left for so long. They finally did voting conservative, and
Mhm.
I'll give it to you. Like their leader, they voted conservative. I don't know his
I'll,
name.
Again, speaking from my own experience, I will say Germany also wasn't as problematic. When I went to France, the leftist policies very much showed, to the point where I barely saw a couple of genuine Frenchmen. And this isn't me hating on any other race. It's just I didn't see the country's own people. That's like, I don't know, going to
That's
Mexico and not seeing Mexicans, and how insane would that be? Well, I guess it's not an insane thing, even though it should be. We need to protect our people's culture, our language, our beliefs, our ideas, our values, our history, and we're not. We're just letting it all go to shit. Excuse me.
and yes, and we should. I agree with you. Yes, we should. Um, I'll agree with the lefts on this. Yes, we should care about other countries, but we shouldn't care about them to the point where we're putting them over our own citizens. For example, all the illegal immigrants that came through our border, 60,000 documented cases. And that's another story. But 60,000 Americans killed by illegal immigrants. We should care more about the American citizens and care more about your country's citizens than care about people in other countries. Yes, we should care about people in other countries, but not to the point where it's over your own citizens.
Yeah. I mean, we just gotta hope and pray for the best. We hope that things remain relatively fine, even though I I have a very keen feeling that they won't. So I guess the Hungarian people can now sit with the decision they've made and watch as it just turns their backs on them. But I mean, that's what they voted in. What can we say? It's like the people of New York. They voted in socialist. Well, now you got the repercussions. Same thing here. Same thing in the United
Yeah,
States.
these
Same thing in
people.
Hungary. Same thing in New York. Same thing happens, and then we always switch because that the people actually realize and think a little bit more. And
Yeah, and the
actually,
thing is, New York, they have people fleeing from New York now. Our own country, we have people fleeing from these states. California, people fleeing from California. Washington, New York. These were all great states when year like years ago. These were great states. These were popular states. There used to
yeah,
be people walking around with suits in New York, and the
yeah,
fact people are now fleeing from it because the left have controlled the new these states and these countries, and it's like people are running away because the amount of crime and just bad stuff in those countries.
yeah. I mean, it's another key hand. This also relates going back to the election of, I'm not going to say this full title, but of Peter Magyar, is that a lot of if you were to go on Facebook, it would be very very hard for you to find any sort of Fidesz, conservative, but like conservative content being pushed out to you.
And this is another
The Facebook
example.
algorithm was the Facebook algorithm. A lot of people in Europe and in, like, for example, Hungary and in general use Facebook, and it was spouting nothing more than leftist propaganda, which I think, when you take into account who uses Facebook and that those people are voters, it very much influenced it. And so Mark Zuckerberg is also technically a part of this, as crazy as that might sound. It's a fact.
Yeah,
Even
it's
now,
the fact
you
that the
barely see
left
any
controls the
conservatives saying
media
it.
so much. It's crazy how much they control it. Like they could make
Yeah,
they could make anything change. Like they could make almost about anything. For example, the illegal immigration, all that stuff. They made that sound like ICE officers were doing terrible stuff to people. Yeah, if you looked at it, they were just they were just simply doing their job.
oh yeah,
Like they made
and
Trump look terrible. They made our law enforcement look horrible. They made all of these things that conservatives are actually doing good look terrible because they control the media.
yeah, and yeah, again, exactly. That's quite literally what it is. So there's a lot to these types of elections where a side like that clearly has no good intentions for the betterment of the country of which they may represent, and then that party wins, and it's just like, well, it's blatantly obvious this wasn't all people who naturally just out of the blue thought whatever it is that they may be representing. And so that's honestly where I can end it off about that whole thing. But I Hungary, what have you got yourselves into?
I
Istenad
mean,
meg.
I'll end it on this. If you look at it, the people who even invented Instagram, TikTok, all of these things won't even let their kids have it. That should spark a thought
That's
in your mind.
very valid point, and that's true. You
They
guys
made
can go.
people who made Instagram, people who made TikTok, Snapchat, all that stuff won't even let their own kids have it.
Yeah.
It's like
And
the popular things.
what's funny is that reminded me. I forgot to mention, and I'm going to connect this into another thing before we move on to the final topic of the day, which is California's gubernatorial candidate controversy. But Peter Magyar is married. He does have children. Turns out his kids are Fidesz, and they're conservative. Would you look at that? So that was pretty hilarious in my opinion. How if I'm not sure how old they are, but if they were old enough to vote, they probably damn well voted for Viktor Orban. And that is just ironic to me. And that also reminds
It's
me of
just
the fact
crazy,
that,
you know.
yeah, and I'll quickly add on to that in that when I say he's a narcissistic sociopath, maybe even psychopath, I say that because First off, he was a former Fidesz. He was a very big Orban sympathizer, and then he split off. And I believe it's because he's a narcissist who just wants to come out on top. Oppose, oppose, oppose. Let me win. I'll be on top. Because he only within the past couple of years did he rise to become the now elected candidate and would have been candidate for the Tisa party. And so that's yeah. And why I say psychopath or sociopath or whatever title you want to toss at him is because I heard reports that apparently he was doing some very very pretty abusive father, and I'm just kind of gonna leave it at that. I think you kind of tell what that may encompass. But so he's not a good dude. All he cares about is himself. He's gonna burn the once great country of Hungary to the ground. Now we got to start a "Make Hungary Great Again" campaign. So I mean, it's insane what people will do. Now, with that being said, let's move on to our final topic of the day: California gubernatorial candidate controversy. So, as many of you know, I'm just going to introduce probably the three key points of the three key candidates we're going to be discussing here. And first up on the Republican side, we got Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff. He's the one candidate, even among the other Republican, that I see as viable and good and actually has good intentions and actually cares about the state. And I hope he gets elected. He certainly would have my vote. I'm not old enough to vote yet, unfortunately. Next up, we have Steve Hilton, the other Republican um, candidate who has been in some controversy, mainly due to his very, very, very close ties with Trump and recent Trump endorsement. And then finally, the main man himself, Eric Swalwell, former Democrat California gubernatorial candidate and former congressman. Let's dive right in. So, Andrew, before um, I get into that, I mean, what are your thoughts on Eric Swalwell?
I mean, he announced his restrictions on the U.S. House of Representatives. Like the
And
fact, yes, I mean, I don't want to say anything too bad because I haven't looked too much into him, but it's crazy. He ran for governor, and he's okay. I don't know too much about him, so I might need a little refresh on
no, yeah, that's
what
that's
he's
perfectly
done.
fine.
But
So uh, let's see here. So obviously he was out of the like giant pool of candidates, even among Democrats for California governor. He was one of them. He's a former U.S. representative. Um, he resigned literally today, so this is very, very fresh news. But the thing with him is that, well, first off, now I'm reading looking at a couple of things. So first off, he's been accused of uh,
I just
He's been
remember this.
accused
He
of rape.
was accused of sexual assault.
And yes, he was a yes.
To
So
he assaulted, I think, this woman named Swalwell. He says he like assaulted her twice. In 2019 was first one. He assaulted her. In 2024,
yeah,
claiming that she was too intoxicated to consent in both instances.
yeah. I
What
mean,
is that?
well, I mean, welcome to the left. So this type of thing happens all the time. And no, before we bring the Epstein files, shut up. That's a topic for another day. But point is that Yeah, so he suspended his campaign for California governor over serious allegations of sexual assault and misconduct from multiple women, including a former staffer. The allegations, which involved accusations of sexual assault and sending inappropriate messages, caused his campaign to rapidly unravel, leading him to state he would fight the false allegations personally than rather than as a candidate. So, yeah, so I mean, first off, that's great. And so he resigned from Congress, so he's no longer representing us. I mean, with a guy like that, it's probably for the better, kind of thinking
Yes.
about that.
I,
But so the question is here then, who on earth will the Democrats nominate as their candidate?
yeah,
Because again,
that's one of the questions.
we're talking about a lot of candidates, and I'm just kind of gonna list them here before we return back to it. So obviously on the Republican side, we have Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton. We have Katie Porter, who is, I believe, she's a lesbian who also has she is very abusive as well with her kids, and I believe I'm not sure with her partner. Don't quote me on that one. But again, lesbian abusive person. I'm sure we've maybe all seen the video of her screaming at her staff. We have Tom Steyer, a Democrat, who is a billionaire who's speaking out against billionaires. I'm gonna let the irony speak for that one. So I'm gonna let the irony speak for that one. I don't even think I need to add anything.
I don't even think you need to add to that because the fact he's speaking against that'd be like us speaking against the American people.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
mean,
like
just
us saying America is bad.
I mean, this was one
This
that made
attacks
my own.
America.
Yeah. Now this candidate made my own father like quiver from fear, and that's Matt Mahan, Democrat, San Jose mayor. Mind you, the one thing I can share is that he does work up in the Bay Area, so you can imagine he's been to San Jose quite a bit. And so it's bad when a native of that general area who's been through there many times is shivering at the thought of this man becoming um, governor. And then we have Betty Yee. These are the more, how do I say, niche ones. Um, Previously serving as the state's controller and vice chair of the state Democratic Party. Um, she was responsible for disbursing state funds, auditing government agencies, and serving on more than 70 boards and commissions. Then we have Xavier Becerra, Democrat. These ones, I'm gonna not talk about them too much. We've only got two more after him. Served as former President Joe Biden's top health official, oversaw the response to the coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, let's not put him in. That also says enough. Um, Antonio Villaraigosa, former Los Angeles mayor. And then last but not least, Tony Thurmond, who has served the state's top education official since 2019. Now, again, the key people to focus on here are Chad Bianco, Hilton, Porter, Steyer, somewhat Matt Mahan. Now, obviously, Swalwell has dropped out, and in with some insane allegations, probably for the better. But I mean, we can't not talk about that. But let's talk a little bit about Steve Hilton. He was a conservative commentator. He was on Fox News for 6 years with his own show. He was also an advisor to former British Prime Minister David Cameron. Trump also received, or yeah, he received an endorsement from Trump, which I think, honestly, I think it's going to lead more people to not vote for Hilton and more likely to vote for Bianco. And I hope it's Bianco because Bianco is the only one with any sort of dreams or aspirations. Well, I mean, you know, I'm sure you've seen Bianco. So I mean, what do you think of Bianco? What does he strike
I
you?
mean, he's at least better than this Steve Hilton guy. That just my question is, what is he set out to do? What is Steve Hilton's plan to make America or like help MAGA or like what's his plan for the country? Like that's my question.
Let's see. Steve Hilton. Let's see. Plan for California. We're gonna search this up as we're recording this and see what it says. Let's see. His campaign centers on a Cal-affordable plan aimed at slashing the cost of living through massive tax cuts, including eliminating state income tax for those earning under $100,000, deregulation, boosting energy production to lower gas prices to $3, and strict enforced measures to remove homeless encampments.
Now, you could have goals. How will you achieve those goals? How will you drop the gas prices by $3?
Yeah, or drop the gas prices to $3. I mean, realistically, we had Chevron. We were able to get oil lines. The big oil line project was shut down under Biden, and also we've got insane taxes on gas under Newsom. And yeah,
I mean,
so cutting taxes seems to be the
Trump, when
common.
he came into presidency, just said, I remember one of his very first quotes, drill, baby, drill. That was one of the best quotes, I think, one of the best I kind of liked from Trump when he just said, drill, baby, drill. And now we are producing way more oil than all of these countries, than Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah,
And they're both in a war right now. We produce, like, I think it's around, I don't remember the exact number, but it's a lot of oil, oil, gas, all that stuff. Like,
let's
we're
see.
producing. Sorry,
13.6 million barrels per day in 2025. So just to put that into perspective, I know it's a little bit off by like a year or so, but I can't imagine that's changed too much. But again, I mean, I Bianco is the guy I want to put my trust in. He seems the most trustable. He's a genuine guy. He's Riverside County Sheriff again, who honestly, as far as I can tell, has done good things for Riverside County. I know people call him like, well, his county is like bad, but I don't really buy that or think that. But the thing is that I hope he wins the primary, and I have a feeling he will. I don't want to jinx anything. I think he has the potential to win the primary and against one of these people, or it might just be against Hilton, which at that point again I want to vote or I want to get Hilton in, but it's just the fact that, well, now, unfortunately, with everything Trump's doing and any endorsement from Trump is it does, as good as it may seem, it does kind of set back the leader or the candidate running. And again, circling back to Hungary, this was also true. Trump was a very big supporter of Orban for obvious reasons, and Vance even went to endorse him in his campaign by actively going to Hungary and speaking, which I honestly thought for the Hungarian people that might have been good. Evidently, things did not turn out the way we thought it was. But I don't know. Something weird strikes me. Some alternate intentions strike me for Hilton, and that makes me a little suspicious about him. So I don't know what may happen. But yeah, so
Yeah, I
we also
mean,
we've also got he's oh, okay, let's see. Let's read on a little bit of controversy on him. He faced backlash and criticism after calling the allegations against Swalwell an open secret in Sacramento and on Capitol Hill, and he used that to pressure Swalwell to drop out. I mean, that's not even that bad. But in early 2026, this one might be the more important one. Hilton's name appeared in documents relating to Jeffrey Epstein, leading to criticisms from political rivals, which Hilton described as a desperate attempt to smear him. Now, again, I'm a staunch believer of, well, if you're just mentioned in the files and you're not proven to actually do anything, you're innocent. Still, it is suspicious, and that goes for anyone. And last but not least, he still did not, even with Trump's endorsement, Hilton failed to win the official California Republican Party endorsement, splitting votes with Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. The thing is, why didn't Trump endorse Bianco?
Exactly. Like he,
That
the
that's
thing,
that, that's that, that's why it's suspicious. Honestly,
yes,
he he hasn't even talked about Bianco. No one's mentioned. The only people who really know about Bianco are the true Californians. Which again, I hope he wins and becomes governor, so we can have this beautiful state back to its former glory, make California great
amen,
again. But
amen.
but like, again, it's just Steve Hilton. You are hella suspicious, my guy. What he's hiding something. So something's off about. He's a Republican, and I should support him, and I want to support him, but something just strikes me off. So either way, I'm endorsing for all listeners. Go tell your parents to vote for Bianco.
I
Um,
personally think, yeah, Bianco. I don't know why Trump didn't try to do Bianco over Steve. It's suspicious, you know.
it is suspicious, and I feel like there's something going on that we may not necessarily know about, and something suspicious. But we'll only see how this turns out with the Republicans on the candidacy list and Steve Hilton versus Bianco. I mean, realistically, if he is a true conservative, I would also, again, like to hope that in the event he were to get elected and it's just him versus Bianco on the ballot due to the primaries, that he'd be good as well. But again, something feels off about him. I'm sticking with Bianco. Any final comments as we kind of close out today's episode?
I mean, not. I mean, I don't really have a comment or anything like that. Just it's just
Yeah.
suspicious the way Trump done that. You know, it's just suspicious the way Trump would do Hilton over Chad Bianco. I personally think Chad Bianco is a way. That's my own opinion. I think he's a way better person than Steve Hilton.
Yeah, I don't know. He just seems a little more respectable, and he kind of has his ideas straight. He already knows what he wants to do. But on that note, I guess we're just gonna have to see how Europe turns out, how we continue on with
With
whatever
the AI
after
post of
post
Trump.
next. I gotta be afraid to wake up in the morning and I don't know, see some more baloney. But and we'll see what happens to the California candidates. We'll see what happens to Europe. We'll see if I wake up to an AI Trump jump scare. That being said, I believe that's all there is to talk about for today. This was great. This was a great episode. I'm glad that you guys, any listeners or viewers, I'm glad you are here. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Um, if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to talk about next, geopolitical or American politics, let me know. Andrew, thank you again for being here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Of
Yeah, thanks for having me here. So,
course.
I mean, in the future, I would like to talk a little bit about LGBTQ or whatever
Yes.
it's called now. I don't know what it's called. It's changed like 40
Oh
times.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the way things are going, I mean, I don't think we'll have to wait too long on that. That could definitely make for an interesting discussion when there isn't very there aren't really there isn't much to say really it's a lax part, although in
Yeah,
today's
I mean,
political climate not really,
yeah,
but
I mean, shout out
we will.
to yeah, shout out to Trump when he cut $2.7 billion from LGBTQ. Like I remember reading something. He cut like a good portion of LGBTQ's funding, but that's a discussion for another day. So
It is, that's good. I mean, again, unless anything crazy comes up, which again something might come out an hour after we're done with this, but yeah, we'll definitely cover that on a different day, so be on the lookout for that, guys. With that being said, thank you so much again for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next one. Andrew, thank you again for being here.